CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Dozens of people still reeling this afternoon after they were forced out of their homes as a fire raged through 5 San Francisco buildings. This was the scene early this morning. You can see flames shooting from the roof. This is in the city's Richmond neighborhood. Our Veronica Macias was there all morning talking to crews.
On this Friday morning here on 5th Avenue in the Richmond, we have a reminder of just how quickly flames can spread and how quickly things can turn deadly. Thankfully, that is not the case here this morning, but you do have a sad situation with several people being displaced this morning. You have 30 plus people who have lost so much and are going to have to recover and pick up the pieces. We do have information about the Red Cross helping people, taking them to shelter early this morning on a Muni bus. We know that this fire started just before 2 a.m. and it was very intense. You had flames that were shooting out through the roof, out through the front window. This was a 4-alarm fire with 140 firefighters responding. We also know from the fire captain here that it was crucial how neighbors reacted. They're the ones that help save lives.
It's apparent that this community and this neighborhood was prepared. When we arrived on scene, we had people screaming for help and crying, but what they were doing is they were helping each other. They were getting out of the buildings. We don't see that all the time. We see people staying in their buildings, not listening to the fire alarms, and they end up being victims or requiring rescuing.
It's terrible, but no one was injured, so we're grateful for that.
This morning here on 5th Avenue, we've also seen community coming together. You have people who have come out here and helped the neighbors get some coffee, some croissants, giving some to the firefighters as well. Animal control was here removing animals. We saw a bunny being taken out from one of these homes. We do, however, know that one person lost a cat in this fire. A firefighter suffered minor injuries, expected to be okay. As for the cause of this fire, we're still waiting to learn more.
Well, today is the last day on the job for San Francisco's police chief. Chief Bill Scott is officially leaving on June 20th, but he's going to be on a long vacation until then. Scott has been leading the department for the last 8 years. He's returning to Los Angeles, where he was with the LAPD for 27 years. This time he'll be the chief of police for LA's Transportation Authority. He was hired under Mayor Ed Lee back in 2017 and has served under 4 mayors, members of the community, bidding him farewell.
You know, it's been tough, I think, being chief of police here in San Francisco, and went through some hard times during COVID, during a time of anti-Asian hate. So we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate you having a listening ear and wanting to work with the Asian American community. And just want to say best of luck.
Mayor Daniel Lurie is going to choose the next San Francisco police chief from a list of names given to him by the city's police commission. Until then, Paul Yep will serve as interim chief. All of San Francisco's speed cameras are now in place. Those cameras are up at 33 intersections around the city. They're designed to capture license plate numbers of speeding cars and automatically send out tickets. Some started working back in April, and the SFMTA says that since then, the cameras have been catching more than 1,000 drivers a day, going at least 11 miles an hour over the limit. Well, if you drive to Walnut Creek, the city's Chamber of Commerce might be tracking your movements without your knowledge or consent. It's part of a new effort to track tourism in the city. Our Kevin Coe explains how that works.
Paramita is a Walnut Creek chef who ran a local restaurant.
I used to have a lot of tourists in my restaurant who visited, and they tracked it via OpenTable, TripAdvisor. It does generate quite an amount of revenue for the restaurants.
The question is, how does Walnut Creek attract more tourists to generate that revenue?
Being able to connect with them, that is the key to bring the travelers.
Walnut Creek's Chamber of Commerce seems to agree with Paramita. It's partnered with the travel data company Arrivalist to track and monitor tourists citywide. They shared details of the deal at Tuesday's City Council meeting.
We've got some new toys. So Arrivalist is a local intelligence program that tracks market trends and visitors' behavior and visitor spend data we'll be having soon.
Some of that data is already available, including information from a basketball tournament at the Ultimate Fieldhouse.
As you can see, the majority of the overnight guests came from different places in California, but then Pennsylvania and Ohio. So we can pull all of that from Arrivalist. If you're in Walnut Creek for more than 2 hours, we will track.
Okay.
Yes. Well, Arrivalist will. Yeah, it's all very innocent.
So to be fair, they're absolutely right. I think their use of the data in this manner is benign, right? I mean, it's a useful thing.
Mike Katzlakabe is the director of research at Oakland Privacy. He's more worried about broader applications of the technology.
It's really upon who is using it and to what ends depends on, how creepy it gets. In the same manner that they're doing it to track visitors for an event in the city of Walnut Creek, you could do that for who visits a police station during the day. Where do they go before and after they go to the police station?
So, to get the specifics, we went to Chamber President Bob Linscheid. Can you explain? So if I'm just in the city for 2 hours, I'm going to be tracked?
So this device must be in Walnut Creek for at least 2 hours to be considered a visitor. That is included in visitation data we receive. We do not track all devices. Walnut Creek resident that's here for a protracted period of time, that's never come from outside, no. We're not interested in that data. We're only interested in visitors. People need to know that this is safe. It's not as though we're using the data for anything else other than to help us make marketing decisions on where we spend our money to market Walnut Creek.
So the chamber says it will not share any information with anyone, but the company's privacy policy states it might use or disclose personal information collected for reasons, including responding to law enforcement requests. Bay Area politicians joined with veterans in the Castro today to speak out against the U.S. Navy's plan to rename a ship that was named for civil rights icon Harvey Milk. The USNS Harvey Milk was christened in 2021 to honor one of the first openly gay elected officials in the U.S. Milk, a San Francisco supervisor, was assassinated in 1978. The ship's naming represented a major step toward inclusivity within the armed forces. And today, State Senator Scott Wiener, along with several LGBTQ veterans, addressed their dissatisfaction with the Trump administration's decision. Board of Supervisors President Raphael Mandelman sees the renaming as a ploy.
We are all grateful for what Harvey Milk did for our queer community and for our broader community here in San Francisco, but they are trying to distract everyone from the reality that they're not just assaulting the trans folks, they're not even just assaulting the queer folks, they're assaulting everybody.
Many at the conference also spoke out about the cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Trump administration's assault on the LGBTQ community as a whole. Meanwhile, the public feud between President Trump and the world's richest man, weighing in on everything from space to the stock markets. A source tells CBS News Elon Musk wants a phone call with President Trump, but the president has yet to schedule one. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Just 1 week ago, President Trump handed Elon Musk a key to the White House on the billionaire's last official day working for the administration.
It goes to very special people, and I thought I'd give it to Elon.
But now the two are embroiled in a very public feud.
I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
After President Trump spoke in the Oval Office Thursday about Musk's criticism of the spending bill he's trying to get passed, Musk fired back on social media in a series of posts. One reading, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election," referencing the more than $200 million he spent on the campaign. He even expressed support for the president's impeachment. President Trump then claimed he asked Musk to leave, saying Musk was wearing thin. And he threatened to terminate billions of dollars in government subsidies and contracts that go to Musk's companies, including SpaceX and Tesla. The spat got even more personal when Musk alleged Trump appears in the Epstein files, referencing the late Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted child sex offender. A source familiar pushed back in part, saying Trump kicked Epstein out of his Palm Beach golf club.
The White House is calling the feud an unfortunate episode from Musk, saying the tech billionaire isn't happy with the GOP budget bill because it doesn't have the policies he wanted.
With respect to what Mr. Musk has been saying about the big, beautiful bill and overspending and things like that, I think that that dog won't hunt when you do the math properly.
There are signs Musk may be trying to de-escalate the tension by seeking a call with the president. President Trump told CBS News' Robert Costa this morning that he's totally focused on domestic and foreign policy matters, not Musk.
President Trump just announced that trade representatives from the U.S. will be in London next week, where they will be meeting with China to work on a trade deal. Let's see how stocks are responding to the news. Taking a live look at the big board this Friday, the Dow is up about 440 points. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. It was a pivotal moment in World War II that eventually led to the fall of Hitler's regime, how the world is commemorating D-Day. Plus, artificial intelligence is helping science make great strides in research, but why some experts say it could be contributing to climate change. And here's a live look outside before we head to break at the city of San Francisco. Sutro Tower there in the background. We'll be right back. Well, today marks 81 years since the D-Day invasion, June 6, 1944. Tens of thousands of Allied troops from the United States, UK, France, and Canada stormed the beaches of Normandy in Nazi-occupied France. Veterans gathered in Normandy for a ceremony honoring what is often referred to as the beginning of the end of World War II. Nearly 9,400 American soldiers are buried at Normandy. Tens of thousands of people were at today's memorial, including veteran Jake Larson from Martinez, who survived machine gun fire when he landed on Omaha Beach. In today's Project Earth, artificial intelligence has been touted as a groundbreaking tool in the fight against climate change, but experts warn there's a hidden environmental cost linked to the technology. A new report shows how AI data centers use massive amounts of electricity generated in large part by fossil fuels. Tina Kraus explains this power demand is expected to exponentially increase.
These marine biologists in England say artificial intelligence is giving them a quicker and clearer picture of how environmental changes are impacting plankton, those tiny organisms at the heart of the ocean food chain that help produce oxygen for the planet.
AI is offering us a way to unlock this reserve of information. This could be a real game changer for us.
But new research warns the expansion of AI could create a higher climate risk.
We know that AI can help mitigate climate change, but we also know that its current trajectory is unsustainable.
A report from Britain's Royal Academy of Engineering calls for the UK government to receive mandatory reporting from tech companies on their power and water usage as they operate in massive data centers that use vast amounts of power and need cooling systems to prevent equipment from overheating.
Now, with the advent of AI infrastructure requirements, the future is looking increasingly difficult.
You choose Europe for AI.
With world powers racing to become leaders in AI, experts say demands for natural resources are skyrocketing and must be managed wisely.
The worst case scenario is that we will find ourselves making difficult choices when it comes to who has access to power, whether it's the data centers or normal people.
A climate conundrum even AI itself could struggle to solve.
According to U.S. Census data, San Francisco, Santa Clara, and Los Angeles account for almost 60% of California's data center jobs. All right, now back to our first alert weather, because it is Friday. Let's take a live look from our camera on top of Black Mountain. It looks like it's going to be a great weekend, according to meteorologist Zoe Mintz. Hey, Zoe.
Oh, hey, Ann. Yes, a beautiful weekend. Gorgeous for any outdoor plans you may have. You really shouldn't have to worry about anything besides grabbing the sunglasses, putting on the sunscreen, and soaking up some sunshine after the morning fog burns off. Because, yeah, we're going to continue to see this early morning fog, but it is not going to take long for it to peel back to our coastal communities. And in fact, depending on where you live along the coast, you might even be seeing a little bit more sunshine. And it looks like down near Pacifica and maybe down near Half Moon Bay, seeing a little bit of it. But the farther south you go, there's a little bit more cloud coverage. And over near the Golden Gate, there's also a little bit more cloud coverage. That's keeping those temperatures a few degrees cooler cooler right now. It's really only those coastal communities, though, that are a little bit cooler, but low 60s, that's not cool by any means. It's comfortable out there. We're sitting in the mid-70s across our inland East Bay communities and down into the Santa Clara Valley. And by this afternoon, we're all going to be warming up to seasonable for this time of year, within a degree or two of average, upper 80s across our inland East Bay communities, nearly 90 degrees in Antioch, and upper 70s to low 80s down into the Santa Clara Valley. Doesn't really matter where you are, it is going to be nice out there. But if you do plan on heading on over to the coast, again, you might want to grab a jacket. The onshore flow is going to continue to keep those temperatures in the mid to lower 60s. But it's what we expect this time of year. It's very seasonable. It's very typical of June, with that marine layer that continues to hold on tight closer to our coastal communities. A beautiful time lapse showing you that fog rolling in, rolling in, rolling in. And then once the sun rose and warmed up the ground enough, a lot of that fog continued to dissipate. We're still looking at a good amount of it holding tight to at least the western half of the city, but inland areas, plenty of sunshine, really gorgeous weather. Like I said, temperatures right now sitting in the upper 60s to mid 70s, and by the afternoon within a degree or two of normal, and that's within a degree or two of what we've been feeling each and every day of the past week. And we're going to continue to feel those very normal, very typical June conditions through the rest of the weekend and into early next week, with again that early morning fog that will be building in, and you might even see a little bit of coastal drizzle, especially if you live across our North Bay communities. By the afternoon hours tomorrow, though, plenty of sunshine. That might allow our temperatures to be a degree or two warmer tomorrow than today. Not a significant heat up, but hey, this is really all we're talking about. A degree or two changes on the way, as those very typical June conditions will stick around for places from our inland communities all the way to the coast. It's what we expect this time of year. And if you do live along the coast, I hope you can soak up a little bit more sunshine today and tomorrow afternoon before a bit more of that thicker marine layer arrives. But overall, low 60s sticking around at least for the next 7 days. Back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. Still ahead here at noon, it is Broadway's biggest night. What special performances are in store for the Tony Awards this weekend? The 78th Annual Tony Awards, just a few days away. The ceremony celebrating some of the biggest performances on Broadway. Going to be hosted by the Wicked Witch of Wicked, who's a Tony Award winner herself. Jared Hill has everything we need to know.
Radio City Music Hall is preparing to raise the curtain on Broadway's biggest night.
I think it lets people who don't get to come to Broadway see what's on stage.
Sunday, Cynthia Erivo will host the 78th Tony Awards, leading the pack with 10 nods each, a trio of unique new musicals. The Robot Romance Maybe Happy Ending, Death Becomes Her, an adaptation of the 90s dark comedy, and Buena Vista Social Club, a celebration of Cuban music.
We are absolutely on fire in a wonderful way.
Alex Bursch, CEO and Senior Vice President of Broadway program maker Playbill, says this has been one of the busiest Broadway seasons in a decade.
I think the main storylines throughout the evening are really going to be, how are the shows going to differentiate themselves?
Performances are planned for all the Best Musical and Best Musical Revival contenders, setting the stage for six-time Tony winner Audra McDonald and Pussycat Doll turned Broadway powerhouse Nicole Scherzinger to show off why they are up for Best Actress in a Musical. This year's Tonys will feature a special reunion. The original cast of Hamilton, the most nominated show in Tony's history, will be back on stage for a performance celebrating the show's 10th anniversary.
We have Hamilton in part to thank for really changing the public's perception.
Oh, Mary took it to the next level. The absurdist take on former First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln meets George Clooney's Good Night and Good Luck in the Best Play category. Other stars of the big screen are also looking for a stage win, as Erivo looks to make some magic of her own.
Because I want everything to tickle people's taste buds. Yeah.
A final bow for the highest grossing season in Broadway history.
The 2025 Tony Awards are coming up this Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. You can watch right here on CBS or stream on Paramount+. Well, families, we know, come in all shapes and sizes, even those in the animal kingdom. Still ahead here at noon, who was adopted by a group of cranes. It is a real-life twist on the ugly duckling fairy tale in Wisconsin. A family of sandhill cranes adopted a baby Canadian goose after the egg was left in a nest. The goose egg hatched, and it recognized the cranes as mom and dad. The baby goose is fitting in perfectly with the new family, but as cute as this is, their time might be limited. Experts say the goose's natural instincts to migrate might take over. We shall see. That is it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app.